Hi there, I'm Phil, and in these Essential Movies videos, I take a spoiler-free look at a film that I think every film student and film lover should check out. Today, we're looking at The Maltese Falcon. The Maltese Falcon was released in 1941, written and directed by John Huston, his first film as a director, and starring, of course, Humphrey Bogart, Mary Astor, Sidney Greenstreet, and Peter Lorre. This is one of the greatest films of all time, admittedly. It's one of the original film noirs. It made Humphrey Bogart a major A-list star. It was the first film that Sidney Greenstreet had ever done.
I tell you right out, I'm a man who likes talking to a man who likes to talk.
And it also was one of the best roles that Peter Lorre ever played. And in fact, after this film, because they worked so well together, Bogart, Greenstreet and Lorre went on to make two more films together, Casablanca being the most famous one, of course, and Passage to Marseille. It is based on the novel by Dashiell Hammett. Now, this had been made at least twice before by Warner Brothers Studios, who owned the rights to the book. Both times, they adapted the book, they changed it, they screwed around with it, and basically made very mediocre films out of it. So they didn't have faith in the story, ironically. When John Huston got a hold of the book, he basically adapted the book exactly as is. Every scene, with a couple of rare exceptions, comes straight from the book. It is one of the most faithful adaptations of a book ever made on film, and it shows. The dialogue is cracking and sharp and fast. The characters are complex. Humphrey Bogart's Sam Spade is an anti-hero in a time, 1941, when they didn't really do anti-heroes in film. This was the time of the production code, after all, where there's always a redemptive arc for a hero, and there are certain character types and certain relationships you could not afford to show. Peter Lorre's Cairo is the kind of character you don't see very often in these kinds of films.
Gardenia.
Quick, darling, in with him.
More than idle curiosity prompted my question. See, Mr. Spade, I'm trying to recover ornament that, shall we say, has been mislaid.
And Mary Astor's Bridget O'Shaughnessy is a relatively loose woman. Again, something you don't see very often in Code-era films.
You aren't exactly the sort of a person you pretend to be, are you?
I'm not sure I know exactly what you mean.
The schoolgirl manner, you know, blushing, stammering, and all that.
The Maltese Falcon itself is one of the most famous MacGuffins in film history. The MacGuffin being a prop, usually, that drives the story, the thing that everyone's after, the object of desire. Now, I don't want to show you much of the film. That's not the point of these videos, after all. I don't want to give it away.
Fair enough.
Being a film noir, the film is brilliantly lit and brilliantly shot. The coverage in this, the camera angles, the composition of the shots is all very meticulously thought out by John Huston. This being his first film as a director, he wanted to make sure he got it right and stayed on budget and on schedule, and actually came in under budget and under schedule. It was so efficient. But every scene, every camera move, every angle is very well thought out. It's a masterclass in how to cover scenes, mostly with people talking in rooms, which can be difficult to make interesting. The third act in particular is an entire 20 minutes or so sequence of people, all our central characters, in a room talking.
Well, sir, we're all here. Now let's come in and sit down and be comfortable and talk.
Humphrey Bogart gives one of the greatest performances of his career in this film. He defines Sam Spade, the private detective. And I should add, Dashiell Hammett, who wrote the original book, was at one time a Pinkerton's detective. He'd worked as a private detective. He knew how this world worked. He knew how they operated. And I love how in this film they show you how a private detective operates, how they work with clients and the police.
Don't crowd me, Tom.
How they try to avoid getting too close to their clients or their adversaries. And this becomes a major plot point in the film for the character of Sam Spade at the end. So I encourage you to check out The Maltese Falcon, one of the great movies from the 1940s.
I inquired at the hotel for the name of a reliable private detective. They mentioned yours.
Suppose you tell me about it from the very beginning.
If you like these kinds of videos, you know what to do. If you'd like to learn more about filmmaking, check out my book linked below. And if you'd like to support the channel, consider joining my Patreon, where you can see videos that I can't release on YouTube. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Will we talk about the blackbird?
You're the man for me, sir. No beating about the bush, right to the point. Let's talk about the Blackbird, by all means.